plan is. I think it's like 3 laps on the Biscayne ride, so we'll see how it goes. I don't even know where to even meet them up at, so I'm just gonna ride around and hope I see a big group, and maybe I'll actually get on the ride.
All right, so we are back, and by back I mean a group ride. So the last race was in February, and it's now the end of June or mid-June, or who even knows. It's 2020, so I mean, I just go by what month is it? It's 2020. I don't know the day. But anyway, so COVID-19 hit around like mid-March, and I think everything got canceled shortly after that. So most of us went into an extended off season. Some of us kept training, and I was kind of right there in the middle. Did a lot more group rides, kind of enjoyed the bike a little bit more, did everything that I just wanted to do without any real structure. And just recently I started dialing back in and paying more attention to my power meter and just giving a shit about cycling. So, you know, our first race back will be this Sunday, and it's a local crit in Miami, so it's nothing big, but it's big to us right now because it's what we have. They have announced that Nationals will be in September, along with Athens Twilight will be in September, and also Six Gap will be in September. And I'm sure there'll be a crit in September that we need to do too. So every single weekend in September will be on the bike. This ride, though, is a group ride. And basically what happened is we established an early breakaway. On the first climb, I just kind of put in a nice little digger, and Lewis from Zeal countered it, and my sprinter on our team, Sebastian, countered and went with him, so I had no other option but just to go with. So, and what's really nice is that this was a group ride, so we really didn't run into all like the tactics and the cat and mouse games and things that you typically do in a race. We all were committed to the breakaway, and we all put in our long poles, and it was awesome. I think I averaged, or my normalized power for the hour and a half was 377. And we went up and over the bridge 7 times, so that definitely hurt me a lot. But what was cool is that, you know, I was familiar with all these, you know, Sebastian and Lewis. I've been in many breakaways with them, so it's just kind of cool to be familiar with who you're riding with. And we did have a team effort, so this is the Dom Pond ride, or however you say it, I don't know. It's a ride in Miami. It's in Key Biscayne. And there's a lot of people that show up to this ride, and Miami just naturally has a really, really strong cycling community. So for us to stay away for an hour and a half with 100 racers, whatever, chasing us, we put in a huge effort. And it didn't just come from just us. You know, Zeal had people back in the field, and so did we, and I'm sure they weren't contributing to the chase as much as they would if, you know, their team wasn't up in the break. So it played a factor in us staying away. You know, if the field sprint, so Sebastian ended up taking the sprint from the breakaway, and I ended up getting second, but Lewis put in a big pull, and he kind of just, you know, I've raced with him many, many times, and I know that he wouldn't just sit up and let someone go. So there wasn't a whole lot of commitment for him to do the sprint, and I was just happy to be able to feel like I'm going to out-sprint somebody, because my sprint is terrible. And that's something I've been working on. I literally have like a Cat 4 sprint. But the thing is, I have really large numbers that can get me in a breakaway, and so I guess if you can survive an hour and a half at 377 watts, then I guess having a Cat 4 sprint is not too bad at the end. But I can't get big numbers, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just genetics. Who knows? So this is going into the final stretch. It's probably about 2 miles left to the finish, maybe 3. And as you can see, my power is 400-ish at the front, and I'm going. There was a slight headwind, maybe not. It was kind of just. It was hard to read the wind. It was 100% humidity. I know it was so humid. I felt like when we finished, I was just drenched in sweat, and I don't feel like I took in enough fluids just because we were going so hard. It was just full gas the whole time with 3 of us. It was just a constant rotation and a constant fear that we were going to get caught, and all that work kind of would have went out the window, especially this far into the breakaway. This is like an hour and 20 minutes in. So all the suffering has already basically happened. Now we just need to kind of hang on for that last little bit. But yeah, back to like nationals and Athens. Those are the main races that I really wanted to focus on and be ready for is Athens. My main goal for this year was to race nationals, so I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that goes through, and we'll be able to do that mid-September. If that gets canceled, then all my motivation goes out the window. I don't know. I quit cycling. But there'll still be local races, I hope. And hopefully the second round of COVID isn't going to take out everything or cancel everything. It's serious, though. So here's Sebastian. I'm off the back, and it's probably because I'm suffering. I'm hurting at this point, and I know Lewis is at the front putting his last digger in. And I keep asking Sebastian right now, I don't even know where the finish is. So I'm like, is that the finish? Is that the finish? And he just kind of keeps looking at me, and he goes. And I'm like, okay. So I know the finish is coming up. I kind of hesitate, and I launch my weak sprint. And that's that. I mean, this was a good ride. It was fun. It was cool to be in a breakaway with them again, and I look forward to this Sunday, and I should be making a video. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.